So welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. I made an upgrade on my trail cameras. I was running spy points, and after some extensive research, everything pointed me towards the Reveal 3.0, I think it's called. These were very easy to set up. I kind of went all out on these. I got 2 trail cameras and 2 of their security cameras. So I have a trail camera here, one down at the cabin, another security camera here, another one down at the cabin. But like I said, I've been using Spy Point. They're not bad. These ones supposedly send pictures much quicker, almost instantly. I was at Bass Pro last week, and I had been looking into those, and I talked to a couple guys that are really into the trail cameras. They suggested that. And then when I was looking at them at Bass Pro, one of the sales associates was telling me about them, and he had the app on his phone, and that's the same cameras that he uses, and the quality was fantastic. So I got 2 cameras, 2 trail cameras, 2 security cameras, rechargeable batteries, 2 sets of solar panels. Let's just say I'm back to square one on my Cabela's points. But anyway, right now we're going to hop on the mini skid. I got the brush cutter on, and we're going to head back that direction. Last night I was on the excavator, and I cleaned up a big dead oak tree. Been down for about 10 years. We're going to do some mowing, and then we'll alternate between that and the excavator, just kind of cleaning up that area back in there for the future wood yard. I did some mowing with the mini skid. That thing works really well for working around those trees and cleaning up all that brush. Now I'm on the excavator here. I got some bigger stuff that I'm just kind of getting out of the way, and some entire trees that have been down for a long time. This is a grapevine right here. These things are nasty. I try to get away from them when you pull them down, because you don't know what it's going to bring down with it. You know, you might have some dead limbs up there. Over on this side, just out of camera view, is another big oak here. I'm trying to finagle it around this other tree here. But the excavator works great for this. You can just kind of reach around, clean things up. I get rid of the big stuff, and then I will start back on the mini skid. You can see this oak right here. It's been down at least 10 years. I get another grapevine right here. You'll see What I like to do with them, once you get them on the ground, you kind of just roll them up like an extension cord, you know, just keep going back and forth like that. Try to keep it in a small pile. But got a big brush pile right there. When it starts raining again, I'll find a good place to burn. All right, that mini skid and brush cutter is amazing. It really is. Mulches everything up real nice. I'm just about there. Probably one more evening I'll have it, but things are starting to shape up here. Mentioned before, my road's going to come in up through here. I'll have a road that breaks off down through here. Firewood processor somewhere in here. The conveyor and the tumbler will be able to load a dump trailer or dump truck down there. I'm using the way this rolls off here to play into my favor. Building with Sawmill over there. And a big loop all the way around. Right back out the road. All right, so this morning we're walking out here. I left the excavator out here last night. We're gonna clean up some more tree tops and mess in the woods, and then I'll probably come back out this evening with the mini skid and do some more mowing. Been a pretty good day so far. Just had a customer here, bought some lumber, and then this weekend I got a couple loads of firewood to go out as well. But we're gonna get in the excavator, get it fired up, and I got quite the story for you about a local homeowners association. All right, I got a brush pile here beside me, and what's left of a pretty big oak that went down years ago. It's crazy. It just kind of turns to dust over time. Rots away into the soil. It's the way it works. Look at this thing, it's just falling apart. But anyway, HOA story. This is a doozy. Out the road from here, it's probably 5 miles away, I'm guessing, as the crow flies. There's a farm, okay? They've been there a long time. In this farm, I think it might even be a pig farm, but they want to open a wedding venue, and they have another wedding venue somewhere else. I'm not familiar, I don't know the people at all, but it's a nice looking place. And they went to the township for approval, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I'm just telling you what I have read in local news articles. So this farm, they want to start another wedding venue. They got a nice barn, and they got all the permits and approval from the township. Well, there are 2 neighborhoods nearby, housing developments, and these housing developments, they've only been there for a few years, and they're on kind of like a back road, right? And there's 2 of them. Well, they got wind of this, and now they're all up in arms. They're mad that this farm is going to turn a barn into a wedding venue, because they said it's going to add additional traffic to the road, all kind of stuff. And they already said there will be no events after 10 p.m. I mean, a wedding venue, what's it going to be? Once a week at the most, you know? And what I find ironic is the only reason there's traffic on this road is because of the housing plans. And these people, they move in and then they want to start telling other people what they can and can't do with their own property. There was nobody, you know, raising heck at public meetings over the housing plans when they moved in, but then they just want to kind of take over. And the township said there's nothing they can do because it's a farm and farms have certain rights that other places and businesses don't have, and they got all the permits. So hopefully they get it built or get it finished up, and hopefully they get really busy and they are another successful small business. That would be the best case scenario, and hopefully that's how it works out. But I have never been an HOA kind of person, and oh man, I would not fit in well. And there are some people, and I see it in the comments, people, they love that stuff. They love someone else telling them what they can and can't do. And that's just weird to me. We have strayed so far from where we started out, you know, and I'm guilty as it as well. You know, we all wave the flags on the 4th of July and celebrate our freedom. We were so much, we were a free people, so much better off under British rule. And as much as it pains me to say that, we were way more free under British rule than we are today. And everyone just lets it go and just puts up with it, you know. But it's, you know, I talked a couple weeks ago, I did a video about the new rain tax that we have here, where, you know, they say we have too much stormwater runoff from all the new housing plans, and now they need a rain tax. They call it a stormwater authority. I think some people are going to see what they can do to get rid of that. I will help in any way that I can. It's just nonsense. But yeah, way less free now than we used to be. And like I said, I see it in the comments from people. There are so many comments each week. People don't know what they don't know, you know? You just don't know what you don't know. And daily I get comments about what do my neighbors think of me cutting and splitting firewood and running the firewood processor. I get along great with my neighbors, and I think most of the people around here, I help them out whenever they need anything. I cut their grass when they're away. They get firewood from me. If they need a little digging done, I take care of that, and we all get along just fine. And I think most of them understand that what I do is way better off than another housing plan, you know? And if it would get to the point where I can't do what I do, I'd just sell everything, put a housing plan in. I might even do it myself. I'd develop the whole property, put a housing plan in, and I would go to West Virginia or somewhere and buy 400 or 500 acres. That's what I would do. And I think the people that comment that all the time don't understand exactly, you know, they watch a half-hour, 20-minute, half-hour video, and they think I'm running like a full-blown firewood operation. With what I do, I am completely, in the township's eyes and all that, I'm good. If I were to start hiring people outside of my family, I wouldn't be good. It'd be kind of a gray area. But what people don't understand, you watch a 20-minute video, say I'm running the firewood processor, they think we're down there 8 to 10 hours a day, 5 or 6 days a week. My firewood processor had it for a couple months. I think I have 20 hours on it. My sawmill that I've had for a couple years now, I think it's got 170 hours on it, somewhere around there. One could argue successfully at that, I make way less noise than I ever did just because the equipment that I have now is so much faster. In other words, what I can do in an hour with the Evo used to take me a day at least, more than that, with chainsaws and log splitters running for 2 days straight. What I can do in an hour with the Evo. Same thing applies to the LT50 sawmill. What I can do in a half a day with that compared to when I had a manual mill, it's probably 3 times as fast. So you're running everything a lot less than what I used to. And you just have to, even the township with this wedding venue thing, they told these homeowners, just go talk to these people. They're nice people. You know what I mean? Work it out. Like, they already said they're not going to have anything past 10 p.m. or whatever, and talk about your concerns and work it out. They're nice people. No one ever had any trouble with them before, but a lot of these people just want to go straight to the legal route and crush them, you know? But you got to stand up for yourself. All right, I got 2 more areas to clean up here. Bunch of treetops and stuff down over here. We'll make another pile somewhere in there. Like I said before, once I find a place to burn, we'll use the grapple on the big skid loader, gather up all these piles and get them burned up. But I'll have a pile over there. I got one there. I got one there. And then over beside the food plot, I got a big mess. Bunch of stumps. And you can't tell what's in there now because of that Japanese stilt grass. It just grows all over top of it. At some point, I'll go over and kind of rake that stuff out with the excavator and make it a little bit more manageable, burn up what we can. But I was looking at something here. There used to be something here, and what I'm thinking, I'm not sure. You can see right here, I don't know if you can tell on camera, there's like a little bench right here and it drops off. That's not natural right there. The way this used to be years ago, this was all farm field, basically, from here down to Levi and Kate's house, you know? And there's some decent sized trees over that way, but it's all stuff that just grew up naturally when they quit farming. Maple, cherry, red oak, small white oak, okay? Once you get down into the valleys and like the road going back to the house, it drops off. That's where you get into the big timber because they didn't farm that years ago. But this was either an old field edge or something like that. And you can kind of tell by how some of these oaks grew. Down in the big woods, they grow tall and straight. These ones have a little bit more limbs. And that's a white oak right there, kind of slow growing. So I would, if I had to guess, right down through here was either the edge of a field or an old road or something like that at some point. I don't know what, but we're going to use it because it's perfect. We'll come down through here, you know, the main road will come out, and we'll bring a road down in here. We'll make a little bit of fill up in here, have a road go below it, build a load dump trailers or dump trucks with firewood, whatever. Be a couple different levels. But anyway, right now we're gonna go another 75 or 100 feet that direction, clean up all that stuff. A few small trees we'll take down. A few that have been dead for so long, I can't believe they're still standing. Look at this thing. Probably push it right over. Nope, a little stronger than I thought. right, I think that's about all the farther that I need to go right there. We'll mow all this up in here. I got a brush pile there, there, and there. I have been debating on, we're gonna see, but debating on renting a larger excavator to take down some of these trees. There's some pretty big ones in here that are gonna have to come down. I can get them with my Kubota, but, oh, look at this right here. Old hunk of steel from who knows what. Glad I did not hit that with the mower. I think I went right over top of it. But anyway, I think I can get them with my machine. It would just be a lot quicker with a bigger excavator. And then down behind Levi's house, there's a big mess there. A bunch of pines that died over the years. There's several things I could do with a bigger machine if I rented it for a week. That would take me probably 3 weeks with a smaller machine. So I may do that. Like some of these damaged maples in here, like this one here in particular, that one over there is dead. They're big. I mean, we're definitely gonna have to take some trees down, but I have an opportunity here to really make this nice. Like this maple right here, that whole side's dead. That is a giant stump in the ground right there. This one needs to come down. That one needs to come down. But what I can do, you know, I'd love to leave that nice little straight maple right there. This white oak. Maybe take this one out. That cherry right there, that's like a mess right there. There's a cherry, all squirrely, and a little maple growing up between it. That comes out. Leave this red oak. This is a big, healthy maple right here. You know, so what I'm saying is I could leave these couple, take this out, the cherry over by the excavator. We're just gonna have to see, you know, measure everything out. I don't want to be carrying logs in between trees, but the more that I can leave means the more shade that I will have. And I think there's a way to do this where it's gonna look like a wood yard in the middle of a park. Like, look at this cherry right here. Big tree, good for nothing except firewood. One big dead limb up there on it. Yeah. So back to what we were talking about. From what I've read, it appears that there are 2 homeowners associations from 2 new developments, and they're trying to join forces to stop a small local farm from opening up a new wedding venue. And I don't think they're going to be successful, and I hope they're not. What these people, they have a short memory. They really do, because whenever a new development comes into a neighborhood, there's a lot of new sounds and disruptions, equipment running. There's a lot of traffic during construction and after. More people, more disruption. It's the way it is. And you can't do much about it unless you buy, you know, 500 or 1,000 acres somewhere out in the middle of nowhere and build right in the middle. But a lot of people, they think that their home should be the last one ever built, and then they don't want anybody else. You know what I mean? That's just not how it works unless, like I said, you buy a piece of property in the middle of nowhere. And, you know, even around here, you know, we were talking about noise. I always get comments. Would you rather have, I know my answer, everybody may have a different answer. Would you rather have somebody with a large piece of property near you that runs a sawmill or a firewood processor 150 hours a year? That would be at the most 150 hours a year, or 150 new homes behind your house. Which would you rather have? I know what I would rather have, but I'm just asking the question. There's so many people out there that I see that comment all the time. I'm like I said, I'm a live and let live kind of guy, and I'm a good neighbor. I help all my neighbors out, whatever they need. We all get along great. And I think a lot of those comments from people come from people that are in favor of HOAs. And, you know, they like telling their neighbor what they can and can't do. They're the type of people that want their home to be the last one ever built. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But let me know in the comments what you think. Like I said, I just don't think everyone gets the full picture. They watch a video and they think I'm running the firewood processor 40 hours a week or till 10 o'clock at night or something like that. And that's just not the case. There are noises everywhere. I can still hear that development out the road. They've been working on that they did phase 1. They're on phase 2 now. But, you know, 40, 50 hours a week for a year and a half, non-stop. I don't care. That's their property. They're doing their thing out there. And like I said, I just think people don't understand when they watch a video. They think we're running non-stop equipment and making noise and being a burden to the neighborhood, where in reality, that's not the truth. So, I think that's about it for today's video. I don't like HOAs. I think we are less free than we were under British rule. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. And along with big federal government that I don't like, there's a lot of problems in state and local government. And I'm not saying we don't need any regulation at all. I'm not one of those guys, but I just don't like telling people what they can and can't do with their own property. We're taxed to death, and you know, what's really yours? I read a story the other day. It was a tearjerker. It was a lady in Baltimore going through cancer treatments, and I think she beat it, but she lost her house because she couldn't pay the property taxes. And some investment group bought her property, and she lost like a $400,000 house, over $16,000 or something in back property taxes. I think that is sickening, is what I think. I don't know. Right now I'm watching some pollinators on my buckwheat here. They're everywhere. They're honeybees. Oh, and speaking of, I got a lot of different things to talk about today. Insects. You got to check out Levi's video that he did the other day on lightning bugs. It is fascinating. It really is. I like videos where you can learn something. You know, there's just so much nonsense out there where people are just scrolling through stuff, and at the end of the day, they don't get anything out of it. You know, what do you get out of it? Just flipping through Instagram reels over people falling down or whatever and doing dumb things. I like to be able to learn something each day. And if you want to learn something, go watch Levi's video on lightning bugs. It's pretty fascinating. You have to check that out. His channel is Tied Up with the Morgans. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description, but I'll put the channel name right here at the bottom. I think that's about it. Say no to the HOAs and over-regulation and over-taxation. And I'll catch you on the next one.